Lions are smarter than you think, and sometimes even doors aren't enough to stop them. Here are 30 encounters that show us why you must always lock your doors around lions. These people are hanging out in a South African safari park, taking in the sights and looking at some majestic lions. And while these big cats seem pretty unenthused to see the car, one of them gets curious and walks up to take a closer look.
You're gonna catch those two making out.
Okay, Dad, you come into the car, you're gonna have to... She.
It's a magical sight for these people, initially, to see a lion from such close range. But that wonder quickly turns into pure, unadulterated fear when they realize they haven't locked the door and the lion can actually open it.
I know. You're supposed to lock the door. Oh my gosh, I didn't know they could do that.
Lesson learned. Let's head over to Tanzania, Africa, where a bunch of playful lions have gathered around a safari jeep. The tourists up top are absolutely enamored, leaning over and taking photos of these beasts. But little do they know that there's something much more sinister about their prying nature. These lions aren't biting the side mirrors and trying to break into the Jeep for the fun of it. These people are essentially food to them. So the tourists are very lucky one of the big cats didn't just leap up and grab one of them.
Now they're going to chew on the other one now. They're checking that one out. And Mom and Dad are...
Scary stuff. Not everyone's as lucky though, because when these other tourists visited Tanzania to watch some lions, things didn't exactly go according to plan. Of course, most of these lions are used to watching jeeps roll by, and sometimes they get attracted to these shiny hunks of metal. The driver here makes a grave mistake, though, and moves the car while the lion is under it, seemingly pinching its paw in the process.
Oh, okay. I'm good.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
He's attacking your tire. Hey.
Naturally, the lion gets really mad and starts attacking the car, and within seconds, it somehow manages to pop a tire.
What is down there?
They're like, oh. He blew up our tire.
Do the tire out, right?
Yep.
But hey, thankfully, the tourists were all tucked inside the Jeep and no one was peeking out from the top, because things could have gone real nasty out there.
Blew up our tire.
How?
He bit it. There's like so many looking at our car. They think we're the enemy.
Oh, my God.
Over at Kruger National Park in South Africa, people are lined up to get a glimpse of some majestic lions roaming around the area. One of the big cats, though, is feeling particularly friendly. So much so that it walks up to a car and starts chowing down on the side mirror.
Yeah. Oh.
Now everyone's amazed at this sight because you don't get to see a lion from that close every day. What happens next, however, is something that's straight out of a nightmare. Rather than moving on and going about its day, the lion decides to have a nibble at the door handle. Thankfully, the door was locked, but who knows what could have happened if it wasn't.
Oh. Oh my God.
This young male lion gets up as soon as it spots a tourist's car driving by, but while it initially approaches the vehicle with caution, it doesn't take long for things to ramp up and get real scary. As soon as the driver speeds up, the lion follows, chasing the car and clawing at the back. But that's not the end of it, because when the tourists approach another lion a few meters ahead, it also starts chasing the car down, almost as if it sees blood in the water. Luckily, the beast does give up its chase, but it could definitely outrun the car if it wanted. Now here's a tourist trapped between a lion roadblock at Kruger National Park. Though this time around the lions aren't actually trying to attack the car or anything sinister, these big cats are sick of the scorching sun and just want some shade to lie down in. That said, there's some conflict between the lions themselves, because as soon as the male approaches the car's shade and tries to lie down, the lioness roars and pushes him back. But all's well that ends well, because the lions do cozy up under the car's shade eventually. As for the tourists, they were obviously terrified, but they got out of the sticky situation as well. These tourists make a distressed goat call to test the waters and see if any of the lions would turn up to inspect. And guess what? One of them does.
He's gonna get us. Oh my god.
The massive lion slowly approaches the car and starts snooping around the side mirror. It scares itself by moving the mirror, but that doesn't deter it from testing the waters with other parts of the car.
You might. No, we're gonna stay here. Oh, the mirror. Oh!
In fact, the lion actually tries to open the car door for a bit before moving back to the mirror. Things could have gone south real quick if the door wasn't locked.
It's a little too good. He's gonna scare himself again.
Now let's head over to a game reserve, where this lion has somehow managed to climb on the roof of a pickup truck.
Yo!
Make no mistake, this big cat's trying to break into the vehicle, but it just can't figure out how to do it. There doesn't seem to be a driver inside the truck, though, which makes things a little safer.
In this way.
After snooping around the front, the lion jumps over to the truck's bed instead, and who knows, maybe it'll find a cozy resting spot in there. Here's a pride of lions that you definitely shouldn't mess with. But this cameraman, Graham Springer, does exactly that, standing outside his vehicle just to get the perfect shot of these majestic beasts. He may have flown too close to the sun, though, because a lioness actually spots him while walking past. It's not every day you have a 300-pound beast coming over and sniffing you. Thankfully, Graham knows what he's doing because he stands perfectly still to make sure that the lioness doesn't think of him as a threat. That was close. These people are out in South Africa to look for some lions, but they get so much more than that. A lioness spots their car and decides to come over for a closer inspection. She thinks this big hunk of metal is actually her lunch and starts chowing down at the car's rear. But that's not even the scariest bit, because as soon as the driver accelerates, the lioness starts chasing them. The car's trunk even got some teeth marks etched into it. How cool is that? Now let's head over to Knowsley Safari Park in England, where a lion has gotten a little too close for comfort and is trying to eat away at different parts of the car. But you know what's even more bizarre? For some reason, the lion really loves the taste of the car's hood and starts licking at it. That attracts another lioness who comes over to see what the fuss is about and get a taste for herself. And well, there you have it. Just a couple of lions trying to eat a car like it's a 3-course meal. These tourists in a national park just wanted to go out and look at some lions from a distance. But they got a lot more than they'd bargained for.
That's the chicken. Easy, my boy.
In what can only be described as one of the most terrifying sights ever, a lion spots these tourists in the distance and starts charging towards them at full speed.
I can see why you call him Harley. Come on, my boy.
Thankfully, the lion sees that one of the tour guides has a gun on them, so it stops in its tracks and walks away.
Hey! Yes.
Now here are some kids getting up close and personal with a massive lion in a zoo. But rather than just admiring its beauty through the glass, they decide to tease it instead.
Why? What's he mad at?
I'm just kidding. You just
Having fun.
And, well, the beast isn't too happy about his treatment and tries to bite the kid's hand through the glass.
try it.
I'm not. Please, let's go and do this.
Do that again, Emma.
Yeah, do it again, Emma.
You know the worst bit, though? The kid's parents keep encouraging her to touch the glass and incite the big cat again, which in all honesty is playing with fire. You definitely should not test a lion's patience or the strength of the glass separating it from you.
Excuse me.
It's okay. Rip it over. That's enough. Let's not get the tiger man. Amen.
It's not every day you see a lioness resting under your car. But you know what's even more rare? Another lion approaching the car and roaring at it. Apparently, the male lion's jealous about the fact that his lover's sleeping next to the Jeep, which it thinks is another male lion with wheels. It continues to circle the Jeep, trying to lure the lioness away from it. Now, you really don't want to mess with a pissed-off lion. So the Jeep driver hits the ignition, and thankfully, the plume of smoke coming from the Jeep's exhaust sends both lions back on their way. This couple is on their honeymoon in a South African game reserve to look at some big cats. But while the pride seems pretty calm for the most part, things are about to get dicey in the most unexpected way. Apparently, two male lions have been fighting for a while in the background, and the couple's Jeep is blocking the way out of the area. So when one of the big lions starts charging towards them, the driver has to do some quick thinking and hastily reverse down the path. Thankfully, they get out of the way in the nick of time, leaving enough room for the king of the jungle to make his way past them.
fighting anyway.
Now let's head back to Kruger National Park, where this massive lion is enjoying the rain while walking alongside the tourist's jeep. While it doesn't seem irritated initially, it is still a big cat at the end of the day, and if there's anything we've learned about cats over the years, it's that they absolutely do not like getting wet. So this lion roars as it chases down the jeep. Eventually, another lion hops out of the bushes to join the party, and then they both walk together before finding some shelter under the trees. These lions look like they're chilling on top of a mud mound at a zoo, but there's something off about the way they're behaving.
Good girl, Katie. Oh, he's on the move.
The male lion spots something through the viewing glass and gets up to inspect. Oh, and it doesn't look happy about it one bit. It slowly walks up to the glass, presumably to see the reflection or the camera flash that caught its eye. But that casual walk quickly turns violent when the lion unleashes its anger and pounces at the window.
Come on, mate. It's probably the scariest thing I've ever seen.
These tourists are out for a walking safari tour at Mana Pools Park in Zimbabwe. Usually these tours aren't that dangerous, but these folks have encountered something truly terrifying. A pissed-off lion. The guide waves at the tourists and tells them to remain calm, because running in this scenario could mean certain death. They slowly back away from the lion as it continues walking towards them. A tourist keeps asking if she should stand or walk as the beast continues to approach them. After a few moments, the guide asks the cameraman to stop recording, presumably to fire a warning shot and scare the lion off.
Right.
Turn off the cameras now.
Now let's head over to Kevin Richardson's Wildlife Sanctuary, where his crew is out to film a bunch of lions. That said, things aren't exactly going smoothly for them because a lion's decided it likes their car a bit too much and wants to eat it all up. Kevin does his best to get the lion away so the crew can drive off, but the big cat's not having any of it. Not only does it break one of the side mirrors, but it starts following the car when they try to get away.
Just keep going.
The worst is yet to come, though, because a bunch of other lions also join in on the fun and start chasing down the car as it races away from them.
Just keep going.
In terms of things you should definitely not do, petting a wild lion is probably right up there at the top. And yet these two guys thought it'd be a good idea to do exactly that through the window of their safari vehicle. As expected, the king of the jungle isn't very happy about being treated as a pet, so he stares them down and puts these guys back in their place with an aggressive roar. They're never gonna attempt that one again, are they?
Close the window. Close the window.
Here is a massive male lion walking alongside a car at Kruger National Park. The lions are used to seeing cars on the road there, so this big boy doesn't seem fazed by the vehicle's presence. That said, it's advised to limit any interactions with the lions, because you never know when you might annoy them. And well, that's exactly what this driver does as he slowly creeps up on the majestic beast and stops to film it. The guy's clearly invading the lion's personal space, so the king of the jungle gives him a quick "don't mess with me" roar before walking off. Over in South Africa, these tourists are about to experience the fright of their lives as a white lion jumps right into their open safari truck. The lion continues to calmly walk between the seats as the tour guides tell the people to relax and not jump out. After all, that could startle the lion and make it do something drastic.
Alright, what are we doing? Relax. All of you relax. All of you relax.
Even though most of the tourists safely get out of the truck with the lions roaming among them, there is one woman still left in there. She's absolutely terrified, so much so that she can't even get up with the lion breathing down her neck.
Can you stand up? Stand up.
Thankfully, the guides know exactly what to do in this situation, and they get her out of harm's way before any mishap occurs. You know what's the scariest thing to wake up to? A lion's roar. This camper couldn't sleep all night because a lion kept howling around their tent. But things are about to get more intense in the morning as the king of the jungle has no plans of leaving the camper alone. When the lion moves to the other side, though, the camper finally musters up the courage to peek out and look at the majestic beast. And just like they imagined, it's an absolutely massive lion, one that could easily destroy the whole camp. Thankfully, the lion only chews up the tent's other side for a bit before deciding it's not interested. Let's head over to this wildlife sanctuary where a lion is causing a bit of trouble and not listening to its keeper. It refuses to go back to its pride and is running around the place, which could be dangerous for the tourists. In fact, when the keeper approaches the king of the jungle with his stick, the lion pounces back and actually tries to attack him. Although it looks like the keeper's dealt with this cat's tantrums before, because it doesn't take long for him to regain control of the situation and tame the beast. Now here's a young girl posing in front of a lion enclosure at the zoo, but she has absolutely zero idea that one of the lionesses finds her very interesting and is slowly creeping up on her. And as soon as the girl turns around, she gets the jump scare of her life with the lioness staring down her soul. Thankfully, there's glass separating them, because who knows what plans the lioness had for the little girl.
Clémence, retourne-toi.
It's safe to say that ferocious beasts like lions don't exactly like being held captive, especially if the space is a bit too confined for them. So when a bunch of people approach this lion's tiny enclosure at the zoo, it's not happy about it one bit. It jumps out of its house and roars away at the crowd. The lion continues to stare and growl at the guests in anger. After all, the king of the jungle isn't meant to live as a children's attraction. These tourists in their open-top Jeep got to see not one, but two massive male lions sitting down in close proximity and having some social time. Apparently, the gentle roars are a way for these two lions to communicate and form a stronger bond. Disturbing them during this time would be the absolute worst, which is why the tourist jeeps are keeping their distance and letting these majestic beasts converse in peace. Speaking of majestic beasts, here are 4 massive lions getting very close to a tourist jeep. These 500-pound monsters aren't to be messed with, and one wrong move could unleash the whole pride's wrath on you. What's fascinating, though, is that they continue to communicate through roars while walking together, and the tourists are extremely lucky to capture their magnificence on camera. This poor lion seems to be carrying some sort of injury in its leg, but that's not enough to deter it from getting up close and personal with the tourist jeep and inspecting it. It slowly limps toward the vehicle to see what's up, but rather than chow down on the side mirror or climb on top like some of its brothers, this poor lion isn't in a playful mood at all, and actually looks to be in quite some pain, so it simply turns and walks away. On a more positive note, these tourists in Tanzania got to see the king of the jungle act like an actual cat. The lion starts moving towards the safari vehicle and gets super close. The driver promptly stops the truck to avoid hurting the beast, but that's where things take a very unexpected turn. Rather than being aggressive or thinking of the vehicle as its food, the lion actually starts rubbing against the truck to seemingly mark it. Or maybe the big cat just wanted some cuddles. Regardless, it's probably as close as you can get to a lion without antagonizing it, and the tourists absolutely got their money's worth out of this trip based on this encounter alone.